When it comes to narcissism, most people are familiar with the term hoovering. For those who aren't, hoovering is a tactic narcissists use to suck their victims back into their toxic grip after they've been pushed away, often after a period of no contact, or when the victim has started to heal from the abuse. However, what happens when narcissists don't engage in hoovering? Is it possible for them to simply let go? The answer may surprise you. If you've ever found yourself entangled in a toxic relationship with a narcissist, you know how hard it can be to break free. The constant manipulation, emotional highs, and lows can leave you confused, hurt, and desperate for clarity. Understanding narcissistic behavior, including hoovering and the consequences when it doesn't occur, is essential for anyone who's trying to break free from a narcissistic individual or simply learn more about this destructive personality. In this article, we will explore the shocking reality of what happens when narcissists don't hoover. We'll dive into the narcissist psyche, why they might not hoover, and the devastating impact it can have on both the narcissist and their victim. By the end of this discussion, you'll have a deeper understanding of why this particular behavior is so crucial for narcissists, and what it means when it's absent. You'll also uncover how to recognize the signs of narcissistic abuse and find ways to reclaim your sense of self. But before we dive into the details, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with anyone who might benefit from learning more about narcissism. Understanding these behaviors can be empowering and might just help you or someone else avoid falling into the traps set by narcissists. Now let's take a closer look at the fascinating, albeit disturbing, world of narcissism, and why sometimes the hoovering behavior doesn't come as expected. At the core of narcissism lies a deep and intense need for control. Narcissists are driven by their egos, constantly needing admiration, validation, and power over others. They thrive in relationships where they can manipulate their victims' emotions, using tactics like gaslighting, guilt-tripping, and love-bombing to keep them hooked. The hoovering tactic is one of the most common ways narcissists maintain control over their victims. It's their attempt to suck you back in when you start to distance yourself. But what happens when a narcissist doesn't hoover? It might seem like they've simply given up, but the reality is far more complex. Narcissists are often unable to truly let go of their supply of narcissistic fuel. Without hoovering, they may go through a few different reactions, depending on their specific personality type and the nature of the relationship. One possibility is that the narcissist feels too much of a loss of control and chooses to retreat temporarily, waiting for the victim to make the first move. This can be particularly devastating for the victim, who might feel abandoned, confused, or like they weren't worth the effort to keep. It's important to understand that narcissists will only hoover if they feel like they can extract something of value, validation, admiration, or a boost to their fragile ego. If they see you as no longer a useful source of narcissistic supply, they may choose not to engage in hoovering at all. Another possibility is that the narcissist has found a new source of supply and no longer feels the need to hoover their former victim. This can be incredibly painful for the person who has been discarded, as they may feel like they've been replaced, often without any explanation or closure. The victim might be left wondering why the narcissist no longer cares about them, even though the narcissist may still be watching from a distance, using other tactics to keep them on edge. If you've ever been hoovered, you know how manipulative and emotionally draining it can be. Hoovering can make you feel like you're constantly on a roller coaster of emotions, unsure of whether the narcissist will come back into your life or stay away for good. It's an exhausting cycle of hope, disappointment, and confusion. But what happens when the narcissist doesn't hoover? It may seem like a relief at first, but the absence of hoovering often brings its own set of challenges. Without hoovering, the victim may feel like they've been abandoned or forgotten, even though they were the ones who tried to break free. This can trigger feelings of worthlessness, insecurity, and self-doubt. The victim might wonder why the narcissist didn't bother to reach out, leading them to second-guess their own feelings and decisions. The lack of hoovering can also leave the victim in limbo, unable to fully heal or move on. They may remain in a state of uncertainty, constantly wondering whether the narcissist will come back, or if they're truly done with them. This prolonged emotional turmoil can lead to anxiety, depression, and even a loss of self-identity. However, there is a hidden silver lining to this. The absence of hoovering can sometimes allow the victim to finally gain some perspective on the relationship. Without the constant interruptions of hoovering attempts, the victim may start to see the relationship for what it truly was: manipulative, toxic, and emotionally draining. This newfound clarity can be the catalyst for healing and moving on. While hoovering is a common tactic, not all narcissists use it in the same way. There are several reasons why a narcissist might not engage in hoovering. Understanding these reasons can help victims gain a clearer sense of what's going on. One reason a narcissist may not hoover is that they feel secure in their new supply. Narcissists are always on the lookout for fresh sources of validation, and once they find a new person or situation that meets their needs, they often move on quickly, leaving the old supply behind. In this case, they don't feel the need to return to the previous victim, because they've already found a new source of narcissistic fuel. Another reason a narcissist might avoid hoovering is that they are experiencing their own emotional turmoil or insecurity. While they may appear confident on the outside, narcissists often have fragile egos and can be deeply affected by rejection or perceived loss. If they feel that the victim has truly moved on or is no longer interested in them, they may avoid hoovering as a way to protect their ego. This could be particularly true if they believe they've been rejected or replaced by someone else. Finally, some narcissists may not hoover because they simply don't see any value in the victim anymore. If they perceive the victim as broken, damaged, or no longer useful, they may discard them completely without looking back. This is especially true for narcissists with antisocial or psychopathic traits, who often have no empathy or concern for the emotional well-being of others. For these types of narcissists, hoovering is just another form of manipulation, and once they no longer see any use for the victim, they will abandon them without hesitation. From the narcissist's perspective, hoovering is all about control and validation. They want to feel powerful, and they want to ensure that their victim is still available to feed their ego when needed. When they don't hoover, it's because they no longer feel the need to exert that control. The victim may no longer be a source of narcissistic supply, or the narcissist may have found a more promising source elsewhere. This lack of hoovering can be an unsettling experience for the victim, who may struggle to understand why they were discarded so easily. It can lead to feelings of confusion, resentment, and betrayal. The narcissist's inability to care for the victim's emotions only reinforces the toxic nature of the relationship. If you find yourself in a situation where the narcissist has stopped hoovering, it can be incredibly painful, but it's also an opportunity for growth. The key to recovery is to shift your focus away from the narcissist and begin focusing on your own healing and well-being. This process often involves rebuilding your sense of self-worth and gaining the clarity you need to move forward. The first step is to recognize that the narcissist's behavior isn't about you, it's about them. They are unable to see or appreciate your worth, and they are only interested in you as long as you serve their needs. By accepting this reality, you can start to detach from the emotional entanglement and begin reclaiming your life. Seeking support from trusted friends, family, or a therapist can also be incredibly helpful during this time. Narcissistic abuse can leave deep emotional scars, and professional help can guide you through the healing process. In the end, whether or not a narcissist hoovers is a reflection of their own insecurity, need for control, and lack of empathy. The absence of hoovering may feel like abandonment, but it can also be an opportunity for victims to reclaim their lives and heal from the damage caused by the narcissistic relationship. Thank you for joining me in this deep dive into the world of narcissism. I hope this article has shed light on the shocking reality of what happens when narcissists don't hoover. Remember, If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on understanding and overcoming narcissistic abuse. You deserve to heal and move forward, and there's always support out there for you. Take care and stay strong. When it comes to narcissism, most people are familiar with the term hoovering. For those who aren't, hoovering is a tactic narcissists use to suck their victims back into their toxic grip after they've been pushed away, often after a period of no contact, or when the victim has started to heal from the abuse. However, what happens when narcissists don't engage in hoovering? Is it possible for them to simply let go? The answer may surprise you. If you've ever found yourself entangled in a toxic relationship with a narcissist, you know how hard it can be to break free. The constant manipulation